Hey, what's up everybody? David the Pro Solo Flipper here. Today I was going to put together a video just kind of talking about my numbers for the month of May and how I did on eBay selling full time, um, and just kind of give you an overview. So normally when I do a video like this, I kind of share my screen with my spreadsheet. Um, and I had a couple people comment that they don't really like just seeing my spreadsheet. They'd rather just have me talk about it. So I'm going to try this. Um, I guess you guys can let me know which way you prefer. If you'd rather just kind of hear me talk about the numbers, or if you'd actually like it better when you see them on the screen and I kind of show you and talk about them there. I kind of prefer the screen showing my numbers in the Excel spreadsheet. Um, but it is a little more work to put that video together, and if people aren't even liking it as much, then maybe there's no point in doing that. So basically I have my numbers kind of written down here, and I'm just going to kind of talk about how the month went, for the month of May 2020. Basically, if you saw my previous video, I did about April. April was a record month for me. With everything going on, with everybody staying home, self-quarantine, and not wanting to go to stores. I believe that's the biggest reason why my sales were so great for April. And I did $17,000 in sales on eBay alone that month. And I kind of figured that that was going to go down. I didn't know when or how much or what would happen or when it would go down. And so then came May, and May started out slightly better even, and it continued to stay slightly better the whole month. And so that's great news for me and my family, as my wife has been staying home from work. And so we've only had my income rather than my income only being half of our income. My income became our only income, and my wife did help me a little bit. And so that was another reason why April and May were so good, was because she was able to help me while things were selling like crazy, like I got hotcakes almost. I was selling for April and for May both. I sold 550 items a month pretty much. And so with that amount of sales coming through, she was able to help me keep my listing level up at pretty much at the same level the whole time. So I'm at 1,400 now, and that's where I was 2 months ago, basically. And so, like I said, she was helping me clean and prep stuff, take pictures, and even draft some stuff. And that was a pretty big help for me to be able to maintain my listings. And so that's the other reason why my sales have been so good. And so, for May, so April was 17,000. May ended up being 19,000. So that was amazing for me. It's kind of crazy. I think my biggest month before this April and May was, I think, like 13,000 or something. I'm not even sure. If I had my spreadsheet, I could point to it and say, but anyway, it was great. The last 2 months have been amazing. I have no idea what June's going to be. The first few days have started out just as good, I would say, averaging, I think, 550 a day or something like that so far for June. And so it's going well too. And I'm going to kind of do different numbers this month than I have done in previous months. Before, I've always just kind of said, well, net income of what my sales were is about half. And that's based on what I actually paid for the actual items that I thing, and shipping and fees and everything. That's kind of what I average over the year. And so for this month, I'm going to do a little different. I'm just going to talk about the actual cash coming in and the actual cash going out, and kind of show you what I was left with at the end of the month. So for April, I wasn't able to source very much at all because the thrift stores were closed. There were no garage sales. I did a little bit on Facebook and a little bit on auction. But when I went to look at my numbers for this month, for May, I went and looked at how much I had spent on inventory, and I was very surprised to see that I kind of went crazy in May and bought a lot of stuff. So by far, I spent more in May also on buying inventory. And which probably is the third reason why my sales for May were so good. So I'll just tell you that I spent on inventory for May, just over $6,000. So that's a lot. So right off the top, my sales, um, if you count my local sales and my Amazon sales and eBay sales, my sales are about 19.7 or so. And then so right off the top, I spent $6,000 on inventory. So the thrift stores had opened back up, and two out of the three in town had opened back up. But that's not where I spent the most money. Where I spent the most money was Facebook. So I had like three really big deals that I bought where I spent like 500 one time on some weights. I spent 740 one time on some weights, and I spent 750 one time on 10 pairs of Kango jumps. You can look them up on Facebook if you want, but they're basically like these boots that you wear that have like springs in them, and you can run in them, or you can do like aerobic type exercises or whatever. Anyway, I bought 10 pairs of those at 75 bucks a pair. Plus, I bought some replacement parts, or it came with some replacement parts. So, anyway, some higher dollar stuff, but I'm trying to get to those higher price items so that I can get more profit per item, more dollar profit. I'm not talking about ROI, because the ROI on this stuff's probably going to be less, because it's not something I'm buying for 5 and selling for 40. It's more like something like I bought these boots for 75 and I'm selling them for 175. But then I got to ship them and pay fees or whatever. So anyway, so I spent 2,400 on Facebook purchases. I spent 2,300 at the thrift stores. I spent $1,000 on two different auctions, two local auctions. I spent $1,000 of those. And then I spent about $350 on garage sales. So total, I spent $6,000 for the month of May on inventory. Now that being said, I haven't sold it all, right? But I'm just going to go ahead and tell you how much I spent and basically what I cash flowed for the month. So like I said, I was 19.7 or so in sales, and then I'll kind of run down these other things. So 19.7 in sales, inventory I spent about 6,000. Fees were just short of 2,000 for eBay and PayPal fees, Amazon fees, and then shipping was high. So shipping was $4,100, and then I had some miscellaneous expenses of $44, and then some supplies I bought, like mostly. I think I don't know what I bought, but it would be something like packing tape or bubble mailers or poly mailers or boxes or stuff like that. I spent 117 on that. So all in all, my cash flow was $7,368. So, and I probably ended up with more inventory at the end of the month than I did at the beginning of the month. So that's what it is. So I went from 19.7 to about 7,400 of actual cash, I guess you could say, that it would be taxable income, right? So 7,400, I mean, almost 400. That's pretty good. I mean, if you put that into perspective as like a yearly income, then you're talking about let's see, 74,000 plus another 15 almost, so 88. We'll say 88,000. If every month I did exactly like this, like May, then I would have an income of $88,000 from pretty much just selling on eBay. So that's pretty good. I'd be happy with that. 88,000. That's more than I was making at the bank. So I would be plenty happy with that. So it would be interesting to see. I haven't looked at my numbers in this way for April. I have a feeling my net income was higher for April than it was for May. I made $2,000 less in sales on eBay, but I'm pretty sure I only sourced less than $3,000 worth. So my income probably would have been a little bit higher for April. So yeah, anyway. So that's it. That's kind of my numbers for May. So 19,700 in sales total. 19,000 of that was on eBay. And by the time you knock out all my expenses and everything, or all the money that I spent on the business, I'm down to about 7,400 for the month, which I think is great. And I think April was probably a little bit higher than that, even though my sales were a little bit lower. So going forward into June, I can't imagine I'm going to spend another $6,000 sourcing this month. I did have a few really big finds on Facebook, like those 500, 750. That's just not normal for me. I don't usually find that much stuff on on Facebook at all. Usually it's just one or two things, but I've been looking a little bit more lately just because, you know, thrift stores hadn't been open as much and stuff. Uh, so for June, I don't know who knows what's going to happen. Who knows when this slowdown's going to come. Maybe I'll end up at 12,000. Maybe I'll end up at 15. Maybe I'll end up at 20. I just have no idea. That's kind of the nature of reselling in a time like this, I should say. Otherwise, it would be much more predictable for me. You know, pre-quarantine, I could pretty much predict what I was going to make based on the time of the year and how many listings I had and stuff. But I just don't know when the slowdown is going to come for everything that's going on, or what else is going to happen, if a recession is going to hit, or whatever. I like, as we're coming out of the quarantine, at least in Idaho, you know, cases might start rising and we might go back into quarantine, and that could happen other places too, or maybe more and more places around the country will just keep opening up. If that happens, I think my sales will start to go down, which I'd probably rather that happen. I would much rather just get back to normal, everybody be healthy and get back to their normal lives, rather than have these, you know, these great sales with everybody just being locked up and miserable, right? So anyway, if you guys have any questions or comments, let me know if you like this style of video more than just seeing the spreadsheet. If you go back and watch my April one, you can kind of see what I'm talking about, the spreadsheet. I like the spreadsheet just because I like looking at numbers, and things like that, and I can show exactly where my listings were, or what my average selling price was, and things like that. But anyway, and like I've said in previous videos, you can watch my other video that shows in detail my spreadsheet if you're interested in tracking your numbers and stuff. I have that available for purchase, as always, in my description, for $9 or whatever. But anyway, thanks guys for watching. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Thanks. Have a good day.